Danny Glover has shared a deeply personal update, and the most important part is that he is choosing to tell it himself. The actor, activist, and Lethal Weapon star has publicly revealed that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2023, after his family began noticing changes in his memory around 2022. Now, at 79, and just weeks before his 80th birthday, Glover is opening the door to a story he had kept private for years. The question now is not simply what diagnosis he received, it is why he and his family decided this was the moment to speak, and what his life looks like after one of Hollywood's most respected careers entered a new and very human chapter. For verified entertainment updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. According to People, Glover spoke from the San Francisco townhouse where he has lived for decades, surrounded by family, caregivers, and the people closest to him. His daughter Mandisa said she first began noticing a difference around 2022, especially because her father had always been known for a remarkable ability to recall details from years earlier. By 2023, the family had a diagnosis: Alzheimer's disease. Glover did not present the diagnosis as a simple story of total acceptance. In the People interview, he made clear that part of him is still processing it. At the same time, he also spoke about the memories that remain powerful, the people who still surround him, and the sense that his life is not over. His message was not denial, it was continuity. Life has changed, but as he put it, life continues. That distinction matters because Alzheimer's is not ordinary forgetfulness. The National Institute on Aging describes it as the most common form of dementia, a brain disorder that slowly affects memory and thinking skills. The Alzheimer's Association also notes that the disease can affect memory, thinking, and behavior in ways that eventually interfere with daily life. That context is important, but it should not be used to speculate about Glover's private medical future. The public facts are limited to what he and his family have chosen to share. The Today interview with Lester Holt added another public layer. The San Francisco Chronicle reported that the conversation aired on July 1st and was recorded in Glover's San Francisco home. In that interview, Glover acknowledged that things may change as the disease advances, while also saying he feels he can live with it, in a sense. His daughter Mandisa explained that one reason for speaking now was giving him ownership of his own story. That is the emotional center of this update. Danny Glover is not being reduced to a diagnosis. He is choosing how the public learns about it. And for a performer whose career has always been tied to voice, presence, and conviction, that choice carries weight. For many viewers, Glover will always be tied to Roger Murtaugh in Lethal Weapon, the calm but weary detective whose line delivery became part of movie history. But his career was never limited to one franchise. Before Lethal Weapon made him a major commercial star in 1987, he had already appeared in acclaimed films including Places in the Heart and The Color Purple. Later, he moved through family films, dramas, political work, independent cinema, and socially conscious projects. The San Francisco Chronicle described Glover as a San Francisco native whose career stretched from major studio films to Bay Area projects including Sorry to Bother You and The Last Black Man in San Francisco. It also noted his longtime activism, including civil rights, workers' rights, African issues, anti-war causes, and political engagement. That public service side of his life was formally recognized by the Academy. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced that Glover would receive the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award, an Oscar statuette given to a person in the motion picture arts and sciences whose humanitarian efforts have brought credit to the industry. That award is part of why this health revelation lands with such force. Glover's public identity has never been only about fame. It has been about acting, activism, community, and using his platform. AP noted that he is a 4-time Emmy nominee, received an honorary Oscar in 2022, and served as a United Nations Development Program Goodwill Ambassador from 1998 to 2004. Now the platform is being used differently. Instead of promoting a film or political cause, Glover and his family are speaking about a condition millions of families understand privately. AP reported that he told both Today and People that he was diagnosed 3 years ago. People reported that his support network now includes Mandisa, his brother Marty, and caregivers who help him continue daily life. There is a quiet but important line in this story. The public can know that Glover has Alzheimer's because he has confirmed it. The public can know that his family noticed changes and is supporting him because they spoke about it. But the public should not assume a specific stage, timeline, treatment plan, or prognosis beyond what has been shared. Health updates deserve facts, not guesses. That is especially important with celebrity health stories. The easy version of this story would be to make it about shock. The more truthful version is about timing, dignity, and control. Glover spent decades performing characters with force and clarity. Now, as memory becomes part of the public conversation around him, his family is emphasizing that he still deserves authorship over his life story. Mandisa's role also matters. People described her as Glover's only child, and she has become one of the central voices helping explain what changed. She noticed the memory shifts. She has spoken about the difficulty of watching the change, and she has also made clear that honesty is part of protecting her father's dignity. Glover's brother, Marty, is also part of the support system. People reported that Marty lives with him and spoke about how difficult it is to watch someone with Glover's intelligence and presence move through the effects of dementia related to Alzheimer's. But the same report also described a home still filled with people, memories, art, conversation, and care. That is where the story finds its meaning. This is not only a health update, it is a portrait of a public figure entering a vulnerable stage with the support of the people closest to him. It is also a reminder that even for someone known around the world, the hardest parts of aging often happen at home, in family conversations, in caregiving routines, and in the decision of when to tell the truth publicly. The start line takeaway is this. Danny Glover's Alzheimer's diagnosis is confirmed, but the story should be handled with restraint. What changed now is that he and his family have made the diagnosis public. What matters is that he is still speaking, still surrounded by support, and still being framed by his family as a man with ownership over his own story. What viewers should not assume is that every detail of his condition is public, or that a diagnosis erases the person, career, activism, and relationships that came before it. For now, the verified summary is clear. Danny Glover was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2023. His daughter began noticing changes around 2022. He discussed the diagnosis with people, and today in July 2026. He is approaching his 80th birthday on July 22nd. His family and caregivers remain part of his daily support network, and his message, as difficult as the diagnosis may be, is not framed as an ending. The open question is what Glover chooses to share next. He may keep much of this journey private, and that would be his right. But by speaking now, he has already turned a painful personal update into something larger. A public reminder that aging, memory, family, and dignity can all exist in the same story.